All right, well, welcome guys to our volunteer video. If you're seeing this video, it means that you're coming to camp, and we are so excited about that. My name is Mike. If we haven't met before, I'm the director at camp. I've been a part of camp for a really, really long time. I grew up coming to camp, and now I get to be a part of it again. So this person right here to my left
but not as long as I have.
Yes, Nancy here has been to camp a few times. So talk just real quick, introduce yourself and what you do at camp.
Hi there, I'm Nancy Rogers. I'm the children's minister at Rising Sun Church of Christ. But camp is very tender to my heart, my family. My grandfather built the first cabin there many years ago.
Yeah.
So we have a great tradition, great legacy
Absolutely.
at the camp.
Absolutely.
Between my grandparents, my parents, now me, and my children's children. So
Multi-generational in your guys' family. So cool. All right, Emily, this is Emily. Emily, introduce yourself. Why are you here?
I am Emily, and I just love camp so much. I went to CIBC growing up. I am currently deaning our teddy bear camp. I just love it, and I am very passionate about what you're doing as camp volunteers, counselors, worship band, whatever it is. You are a huge, vital part of camp, and so
Absolutely. Yeah. So the way this camp is designed is to need people just like you. I mean, we could not operate camp. I am the only full-time employee, but I seriously rely so much on all of our help and our volunteers. And so before we do anything, we just want to say thank you for giving up whatever amount of time it is that you're coming out to camp. And we hope you have a great experience. That's why we're putting this video together, is not to make you sit down and have to watch something. You got plenty of things going on in your life. But we wanted to spend a couple minutes just introducing ourselves, also introducing you to camp. Hopefully we'll have some video footage of what camp looks like and just things like that throughout. But the biggest thing that we can say as you get ready to come is that we just ask you to pray about camp. Pray ahead for the things that God will be doing in the time that you might be spending at camp. Not only for the kids that you might be working with or things like that, but also for your own self and your time with God while you're at camp. I always talk about how camp has made such an impact on my life in so many different ways. I view it as this like spiritual mountain, and I could go and talk lots about that. That's not why we're here today. But ultimately, any time at camp is an experience with God. And so we want to welcome you to that. We want to thank you for coming to that, and we just look forward to all of that. All right, so as you're coming into camp this year, whatever program or activity it might be, you'll notice a number of different things as you come in. You'll notice on Sundays when you come in, there'll be a big feather flag that welcomes you to where we check in. That's usually a great spot to start. And ultimately, it's in the dining hall. That's where we'll do all of our check-in activities and things. But beyond that, we'll probably have a number of, whether it's a meeting with your deans or just like these two or whatever your activities, hopefully your dean or the person that's connected with you has given you those specific instructions.
Which is important as a volunteer, that you are there and established at all possible before the campers.
Absolutely.
So most of your deans will have told you, be here at 3, the campers come at 4, that way you get settled in.
Mm-hmm.
Just be ready for them and be happy.
We'll try and make sure that you guys are into your cabins or whatever it might be. And feel free to come just a little bit early. If you show up at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning, I probably won't be there, and neither one anyone else. But feel free to come out and kind of get yourselves ready and stuff. But as you come to camp, one of our biggest things that we want to have happen at camp is just to have a welcoming atmosphere. We want everyone to feel welcome. We want everyone to feel excited to be there and all those kinds of things. So if you're a volunteer this year, we are going to give you guys shirts at your first meeting. And so we just ask that you guys would wear those shirts. And that way, anybody that is coming to camp, whether the campers or their parents, then they have the ability to say, oh, this is Nancy. I can probably talk to her. She has one of the volunteer shirts on. And so we just want that welcoming atmosphere to kind of just flow everywhere throughout the camp, especially on the first day. But just as we kind of continue on, even just the way that we are around our kids or we're around other people, we just want this positive and encouraging atmosphere throughout our entire camp.
As a parent, one thing that I'm excited about is the t-shirts, just to be able to like clearly see who's going to be with my kid. And that's a big part of the first day when you're meeting the kids. You're also, in some of these camps, meeting their parents, and to kind of get to know the kid a little better from just meeting a little bit of the parent from your initial meeting. But also it eases the kid into it, knowing like, this is a safe person, my parents are a safe person, now I've met my week's safe person.
Absolutely.
We're all connected, and that's huge for the kids' rest of their week's experience and for your experience with the kids. So make sure you get to know a name. That's huge, to know their name. Maybe something about them, like a connecting point. And try to kind of, like, some people use tricks to remember, like, that kid has a blue shirt and they like blue M&Ms and their name starts with a B. So you kind of like get that going, because when your name is known, you feel way more welcomed and seen.
When the campers will first arrive, we will have the check-in process in the main dining hall building, and there'll kind of be, kids as they get checked in and in their cabin and stuff, that there will be that kind of point in time where there's like not sure what to do with themselves, and so that would be a great time to do, like Emily's saying, to get to know some of them, whether they're in your specific cabin or not, or whatever your connection might be. And also, this would be a great time just to encourage some of the kids to start participating in some of the different activities. We always have our 9 square going, always have the goggle ball pit, sand volleyball. Also, we have some games in the chapel like air hockey and foosball and ping pong, all those kinds of things. One of the easy ways to connect with kids is to go play a game with them. So if you kind of have that freedom or ability, you're not, getting the worship band set up, or you're not participating in some specific role, that would be a great time for you to get to start knowing kids and just kind of have that fun atmosphere just keep rolling on as we just get the week started off.
Most cabins will have 2 dorm parents. One probably needs to stay in there kind of helping them get their stuff together, but the other one for sure. Go meet the kids, play games with them, or take turns, and that way
Absolutely.
you'll have time to meet them both.
Yep. And so that kind of takes us to another good point of there's kind of a lot of almost chaos going on the very first day. And so one of the best things you can do, especially if a parent this is their first time out at camp or something like that, and if you don't know the answer to something, say for example, hey, where's the bathroom? And you don't exactly know where the bathroom is, feel free to ask one of us or one of our staff. Our staff will be wearing another color shirt on Sundays, and they're actually in the dining hall will be maps, if this is your first time at camp, or if you have some parents that might need some information like that. We have a brand new, beautiful map that was made for us, and so all those things will be available. But if you don't know the answer to a question, feel free to ask. That's no problem. I'll go ask, and I'll come back and give you the answer. Any of those kinds of things you can do to help make it a great experience is what we want to do. So I think this is a good time to talk a little bit about the different spaces. As Nancy mentioned just a moment ago, there are, there's 11 different cabins, and there's a chapel, and there's a dining hall, and all these different shelters and things around the camp. So one of our big things that we want our volunteers to be a part of, and Nancy, I'll kind of let you talk about this a little bit, is making sure that we have at least 2 adults together all the time. We need you guys for your protection, for the kids' protection, all of that. We kind of want a buddy system to where you're not ever alone in a closed, dark space or something like that. So could you give us some examples of times when that might be an issue?
A lot of times with the younger kids, which is what Emily and I do, you'll have a lot of homesickness. And if you have a child that's homesick, don't take them into the cabin and pat them on the back and make them feel better. Do it at a picnic table outside.
Yeah.
You don't ever want to be confined, because a kid could go home and say, "Hey, Mom, I was in," So you just always want to be out in the open. I know with younger kids camps, a lot of times they have teenagers, and so a teenager is okay with a kid, but you don't ever want them to be the only one with the kid alone.
Yeah.
And so, let's see, what's another time? Campfire, walking out to campfire, or somebody needs to have a discussion or a talk. Let's just stay here at the campfire. Well, okay, but two of you need to stay at campfire with the kid instead of one.
And it's good, like if you're in more of the teen, junior high, in my experience, it's been good to, if especially at night when it's darker, you're going to find a place that is seen, but also to let another adult know, like, hey, me and so-and-so are going to go over here and talk, just so you know. Hopefully it will be 30 minutes or 10 minutes or however long if you have a guest. But that's definitely going to happen with those older ages of wanting to have one-on-one conversation, because they feel like they can be vulnerable, and they trust you at that point. They trust you.
That's one of the more rewarding things about volunteering at camp, is to get to talk through life with kids and get to give them good wisdom or good advice, or just to show them, even in your own life, ways that Jesus has done things for you, or whatever it might be. So with all of that, we just say pick a spot that's nice and visible, bright as possible. One of the things we've tried to do is make each shelter as lit as possible, as lit up as possible. There is one shelter on the property, and I know the guy that built that there's no electricity out there, so there's no way to do that. And for some reason, I've even heard some people say it's like the kissing chapel or the kissing shelter. So we don't need any of that kind of stuff happening. Like, that's not why I built it. But anyway, it's so throughout the week, there will be many opportunities for you to just kind of be involved. There literally are so many examples we could give you. And the big thing we want to tell you with the week as it progresses and goes along, just be willing and look for opportunities, whatever that might look like. For example, we do 3 meals a day, obviously, and we can always use some help in the dining hall serving those meals. But we may come out and say, hey, we need 2 servers tonight, or you get to scoop macaroni and cheese or something like that. So when you come in, we do ask if you're going to help in the kitchen, that you wash your hands, you not pick things up off the floor, put your fingers in your mouth, the simple things. Yeah. And otherwise, I'll take the spatula and smack Nancy's hand. But anyway, plenty of opportunities for you guys to be involved. Might be like on the zipline day. I know we usually need some help getting kids into harnesses and helmets, or maybe catching kids at the bottom and getting them involved. Whatever the activity might be, please, please, please just jump in. Just be willing to be a part of that.
Plus, it helps you build relationships.
Absolutely.
If you're the one there helping a kid get his harness on, you just chat with him, and then you get to know him. So it's a building time too.
And as the week progresses, there's one thing that will happen every week, every year, and that is that you're going to get more and more tired, because you sleep less and you run and play more and all of those kinds of things. So just be mindful of that. If you need a break, then speak to your dean or whoever's in charge of the activity. We'd rather you go and take a break if you need it. But when you're with the kids, we want you to be present. We want you to be there. It's not the time to be scrolling social media or those kinds of things. This is one of those things that you get to be a part of, that you get to rest. Even sometimes it's nice to rest from your phone and all of those kinds of things.
Well, we know that we are joining him in what's going on at camp. And I would encourage you, as someone who is going to be probably relatively busy during the day, and it's just gonna, it will seem like a long day, but at some point we'll feel like it flew by. And it can be easy to do and forget to just take some time and pause and be with God, to allow yourself to be in a moment of rest where you just experience Him and just settle yourself down, to remember that He is there for you and He loves you, and also to ask Him to show you what has been good going on so far, and where are points where this person that you are, this kid that you have as one of your campers is in need of love in a certain way, a word or of patience or whatever it may be. God knows them better than you know them for sure, because you may have just met them, and he knows what they need, and for him to reveal that to you.
As you're progressing through the week and you're having different activities, we just want you to have the right mindset, right? As you're working with the kids, now is not the time to be yelling and screaming at them, even if maybe they deserve it. Again, if you need a break, take a minute and rest. But help us with that atmosphere that we're trying to shoot for, that is just really loving and encouraging for everyone to be a part of. And I just think if everyone does that together, it just molds all together to create such a wonderful experience from front to end. And I remember those late nights. I remember being a camper in the cabin and my cabin dad just saying, go to sleep. And, if you have issues with that, or if there's other problems, then just speak to your dean or speak to one of our staff, and we'll see what we can do to help you. A lot of us have been through a number of these experiences, and so we may have ways to help you along the way through this process. So let's talk for a moment here. What should you, as a volunteer coming in, what should you kind of expect with the kids that are coming to camp? What kinds of things is coming in the door?
Kids are, they're kids, and they're not many adults, and so to expect them to, they're going to have long days in the heat. They're going to have so many things that are exciting and fun, and they're also going to get tired, and they have candy, and they have so many things that we should not expect them to have a certain behavior as an adult who can kind of, even as an adult, we were talking about being tired and acting out of that. And so I think expecting a kid to be a kid and then meeting them where they are and thinking their action, it has something deeper in there. And so...
Yeah, and the kids that we might have the most trouble with are the ones who really need us to be the most patient. Mm-hmm. We don't know their home life. We don't know where they came from. Some of them, maybe their parents just found us on the website and they've never been to a church camp before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's where it's going to take some patience on your part. And the first night, I can tell you, they're always so excited they don't want to go to sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
And then by the second night, they're so tired that they fall asleep really fast. And one of the things I do as a cabin mom is I read to them. But again, I'm with younger, so you don't probably want to do that with the teenagers. But the second or third night, they're asleep before I'm even done reading. Mm-hmm. And so you just love them where they're at the best you can. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to just accept any misbehaving, because we expect them to behave.
Yeah.
But some kids just will need some more love than others.
Absolutely.
And the quicker they learn the boundaries and kind of the rules you have in place in your cabin, just the camp in general, that gives them some sort of boundary that they know, we're still going to love you when you are pushing or passing those boundaries, but we're setting these boundaries because we love you. Mm-hmm. And so getting to give even just that little week we have or less to get to show them that, I think is huge. And a lot of that comes to you guys and being their people and being for them, remembering God loves them so much, and we as people that get to be show his love this week, we are for them.
At the younger age, when I'm the dean, I don't try to have a lot of free time, because that's when that age kids are bored and they might get in trouble. So when there is downtime, free time, that's again where you have an opportunity as a volunteer to go out and play 9 square with them, or go play, or even just watch them. I'm old now, so I don't really get in and play gaga ball anymore, because I probably would get hurt. But I go out and watch them and then cheer them on. So if you can encourage them and play with them, maybe those trouble things go away. Yeah.
So if there comes a time where you need a moment to take some rest, to get away for a moment, these kids are just driving you crazy, whatever it might be, we really would want you to step away, talk to your dean or your other cabin volunteers, whatever it might be, and get a moment to rest. Now, we're not talking about nap time every day, but if you need a moment to kind of reset and kind of clear your mind, maybe in the morning, come grab some coffee or some soda out of the canteen, whatever you need, not a big deal. So, but as the schedule goes on, as the week goes on, both of these two ladies here have spent a lot of time getting their activities and their schedules together. And so what we really want and need from you guys is to participate in those activities. Now, there might be some activities, actually, Nancy loves going down the zip line, so I don't see any excuses there. I mean, it's so much fun. So whatever it might be, if there's some reason you don't want to do that specific activity, find a way to still participate, whether it's cheering on, whether it's, taking pictures of the kids, whatever it might be, find a way to be in and participant. And I know throughout the summer, especially as it goes along, it's going to be hot, and you're going to naturally just want to be inside in the chapel or in the dining hall where it's cooler, we have air conditioning, all of that kind of stuff. But really, we just would love for you guys to be out with the kids, participating in the activities, and just helping just create this wonderful program this week that we have worked so hard to put together. So if you can help, it really is hinging upon you guys as volunteers of our success.
For sure. We can't do it without you.
Absolutely.
And I think you will be blessed with that experience too.
Yeah.
Even if you're tired, pushing through it sometimes and then resting when you need to.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Yeah, it will be good for you.
Yeah. All right, so the last thing that I just kind of want to unpack for you really fast is that one of the things we hope happens a lot, but will happen occasionally, is an opportunity to talk with your students, with your kids about salvation, about Jesus, and about giving their life to Jesus, what that might look like, as well as baptism and those kinds of things. So there's a number of ways to kind of unpack that for kids. There's a lot of models that we've talked about in church or in Bible college, or we have lots of tools and things. So if you would like from maybe a practical way of how to do that, or just some more information to help your students walk through that, as well as maybe someone to participate in that conversation, I would really strongly suggest that you would talk to your deans and talk to any of the pastoral staff that are there. That's one of the great things, is that each week we usually have at least one, but lots of times multiple church staff members. And so, listen, I get it. Sometimes that subject in particular is just a little hard. You want to make sure you do it right, or whatever it might be. So lean on your dean, lean on your other volunteers for some of those conversations. But that's something we would love to have, and listen in on those one-on-ones or those group conversations where you're hearing kids talk about making decisions for Jesus in their life. Kind of cue in on those, and we would love to unpack that any more that you guys might need. We have some multiple ways of baptizing kids, so that's totally something we do at our camp. We would love to participate in, but also we want to talk to their family. We want to include their family in the conversation. That is so important, and sometimes that means waiting until they go home, and that's totally fine. But if there's different ways that we can kind of do that, then we'll try. So sometimes that might be that the kids will actually go home to their church family and their families at home. But so along that whole process, keep your deans in the conversation. Let them know that you're having these kinds of things, or these kinds of topics are coming up. And on the subject of topics, we love the salvation conversation. We love the baptism conversation. We love for that kind of stuff to happen. If you notice in any of your conversations that things are kind of taking a turn, especially those late night conversations, you never know what a junior high boy might bring up in a late night conversation. And so just be mindful if they're asking questions or they're approaching subjects that are really uncomfortable, whether it's something that's scary, or whether it's something that, the content is maybe more than PG-13 rated or something, put a pin in that, push a pause button and say, let's come back to that, let's have a conversation later. Maybe we don't need to talk about that completely in a group. I know historically we've had all kinds of testimonies shared, and those are great opportunities, but it's not a time for R-rated events to be shared and all those kinds of things. So as you're working through the different discussions and stuff, just keep a mindful sense of maybe we should not talk about this right now, but let's come back to it, whatever it might be. And on the topic of baptism, as you walk through that with your students, or as you talk to your deans and bring them into those conversations, we have multiple ways of doing the baptisms. One is that we can we can actually fill the baptismal in the chapel space there. But also, we have a new way that I'm really excited about, and that's our new swimming pool at the bottom of the hill. And we just really hope that this week or this one-day event that you're coming out to is just a great experience. And we're so thankful that you are doing it. We're so thankful that you're giving of your time to be used for the kingdom of heaven. And we just want to bless or ask blessings upon you. So I think that's an appropriate way for us to finish, is for us to pray over you and over your week. And so we'll do that. So we'll just ask Jesus, we thank you for the time that we get to have out at camp, whatever it might be for the person watching this, whether it be a day, whether it be a week, whether they're just coming to help lead worship, whatever it might be. God, we just ask that their time out at camp would be something that is a new experience with you, that they would have time of rest, that they would have time of retreat, but they would also be given an opportunity to just minister to our kids that are out at camp and even the other volunteers. God, you have blessed us for so long with this camp and blessed each of us in so many different ways. We just ask that would continue. We ask for the great experiences to continue at camp. And we ask that this little video that we've made might be something that helps our students to have great experiences at camp this summer and many, many more to come. So we thank you so much for all that you do in our lives. We thank you for giving us this beautiful camp that we get to go to. And Father, we thank you so much for Jesus. It's in your name that we pray. Amen. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you guys. If you need anything, reach out to us on social media, reach out to us on our website, and we will see you very soon. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.